key players in Nigeria's financial sector met in the last week. It's all in a bid to improve sustainability as well as to address environmental issues as they affect business operations. And it's going to feature very strongly in their lending agreements. Keisha Gitari looks into the whole notion of sustainable finance and the codes of conduct that were developed out of the dialogue.
Nigeria is making considerable headway in its progress towards sustainability and hopes to see the Sustainable Finance Code of Conduct signed and implemented by the end of this year. The Nigerian financial sector is partnering with other environmentally active bodies such as UNEP-FI in order to help boost sustainability.
Sustainable finance is of significant importance. Let me start by my belief and that of the Nigerian banking community that banks have a very pivotal role to play in society. We have a privileged license basically to interact between surplus and deficit units, but we are meant to transmit the capital that we handle into the economy in a way that would make the greatest and biggest impact. Okay? Our stock in trade is money, and therefore, how can we, in conducting our business, add value, to society? Some of the issues around, society and responsible business practices relate to the environment, to social issues, and to governance issues. Now, if I lend money to a company that basically utilizes the capital to spoil the environment, or the ecological system or ecosystem within which we operate, am I, acting responsibly? If I lend money to a company that basically engages in very poor labor practices, am I, acting responsibly? Or, even if I, as an institution, that profits from a society, myself, for example, in my buildings, in the design of my buildings, in the activities of my institution, act irresponsibly, then I'm not, doing what a bank should do. And we found that corporates generally in Nigeria are learning about sustainability, but are very early in fact, we operate almost at a level of innocence when compared to, corporates in other environments. And I'm not talking now here of necessarily the West, but I'm just saying, generally. And Access Bank, embarked on a sustainability journey about 5 years ago. I believe that more and more we're being recognized, if you like, as a leader for sustainability in Africa and beyond. Just recently we were awarded the Financial Times IFC Award for Sustainability for Africa and the Middle East. But you see, sustainability is not a journey you can embark on your own. One institution cannot change Nigeria. One institution cannot address the issues of the environment. One institution alone cannot address the social issues. You need partnerships, you need networks, you need to reinforce and strengthen each other, as a group. And we thought, look, we've pushed thus far, let's bring on board, the rest of the industry. And, we found the great dynamic of the Bankers Committee to be a way, by which, change can be catalyzed in Nigeria. And so, we chose to invite our colleagues on the Bankers Committee, which of course includes its chairman, which is our regulator. And we had a full, morning session around sustainability. I think the passion with which people contributed was wonderful. And there is a very strong commitment to come up with a framework and a set of standards that will guide the way Nigerian banks lend, very shortly. Obviously, it has to be taken to the Bankers Committee and signed off on. I'm confident it will be. For the consumers of banking products and services, things will not be the same. For the entirety of actually the Nigerian economy, you will see that our money will be doing good things.
The Central Bank of Nigeria is also involved in the development of the framework, dedicated to more environmentally conscious lending principles.
Now, the role of the central bank as a regulator is to see how we can raise this from the initiative of individual banks into an industry-wide initiative, and how, in addition, we can move from the banking industry to government and government policy and see that we take issues of the environment very seriously. And that's because we do believe that a lot of the social issues we have, a lot of the political issues we have, and the long-term sustainability of the Nigerian economy will depend on our addressing these issues right now. So we have set up a small committee. We'll come to Bankers Committee in October, and there will come with specific recommendations on guidelines for lending to certain sectors, in particular oil and gas, power, and agriculture and natural resources, and see how we can, in our lending practices, promote the preservation of the environment. By the end of the Bankers Committee in October, we should be able to make a formal statement as to what the banking industry has decided it will do as far as making this part of lending practices concerned. Our role has always been one of a facilitator. The Central Bank Governor is chairman of the Bankers Committee. We've worked together and we've shown that when we work together we can make progress. We've done that on the power sector. We've done that on agriculture. We're making a lot of progress as far as capital market reforms is concerned. And we think that if we do come together and realize that at the end of the day, this is our country, we will be able to make a lot of progress on environment and sustainability.
Financial institutions have tended to view sustainable finance in terms of risk as opposed to rewards, but this is changing.
If a business engages in production, whatever it is you're producing, so we produce financial goods and services, you know, we actually consume from the environment and the stakeholders that interact with us. So take a bank, for example. I take deposits, so I'm consuming deposits. I take investments from my shareholders, I'm consuming investments. I have my employees, I'm consuming their energies and their time and so on, okay? Now, the world is showing that if you consume in a manner that is detrimental to your environment, you can only do so for so long. People will cry out, people will say stop, okay? And that is the fundamental risk, you know, around not following on environmental, social, and governance issues. The message is that if you don't address these issues, right, you are going to face significant risks.